The number you have dialed is not in service at this time.
Hi, I'm Patrick Cristiano, and I am here for Spotlight on the Arts. We are coming to you from LTV in Wayne Scott. I'm the publisher of TheaterLife.com, a website for theater buffs in New York City and the Hamptons, and we also cover cultural events out east. Tonight, this afternoon, excuse me, I am very lucky to have Frances Hill, the founding artistic director of Urban Stages in New York City. Urban Stages has been around for 32 years.
Can you believe?
Yeah.
I can't.
So Frances has collaborated with Guildhall, and they are producing a show called Angry Young Man that ran at Urban Stages earlier this year for how long, Frances?
For 4 weeks.
4 weeks. What were the dates again?
I think we opened the 17th of March, and we ran through April the 10th.
But it's opening here at Guildhall on the 3rd, and it runs from May 30th, is it?
May 31st to June 19th. And I believe it plays Wednesday through Sundays.
And I saw the play at Urban Stages. I was fortunate enough to go to opening night, and it was terrific.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I mean, absolutely terrific. Let me read you what some of the people said about Angry Young Man. Have you heard all of these? It's New York Theater Guide, the funniest show in New York.
Great.
I said, a superb cast meticulously helmed by Stephen Hamilton. New York Theater Guide. Skip this review and go buy a ticket to the funniest show in New York. At Theater Scene, Angry Young Man is a tour de force for 4 skilled performers to strut their stuff in stunning ways. And boy, do they.
Well, good, they didn't lie.
And now we're going to have it here on Guildhall, which is going to be a reinvention of the setting, or are they doing that on stage?
They're doing it on stage, and this audience sits around them, so it's sort of like a theater in partial round. And the idea that the director had, which I thought was great,
Steve Hamilton.
yes, was to pretend that there were no props but what they could find in the back of a theater. Like, in other words, they used a broom to illustrate something, or they had a ladder that they found in the back to climb up on and pretend like they were on top of a building. It was very, very imaginative, and I have to give Steve Hamilton a lot of credit. It was extremely well directed and extremely imaginative. He did a wonderful job.
Oh, he's brilliant. He's done things for Guildhall before. He's a really clever director. I thought what he did at Your Space just blew my mind, because what happens in this piece, for the audience who doesn't know this is about a surgeon, an immigrant from an unnamed country who comes to London after a botched operation in his homeland, so he's been kind of thrown out for malpractice, I guess you would call it.
Well, perhaps.
We don't know.
We don't know. It's sort of, we don't know quite what the facts were on that one. But he wants to start a new life.
And Yusuf is his name.
Yusuf, and he wants to start a new life in London as an immigrant and come in, and he has an interview for a job. Well, what we find is what happens to him as an immigrant. And it's very funny, but it's very real, and it has a lot of messages for us. And that's what I loved about the play when I first read it. Do you know the history of it?
I do not. Well, I know it premiered in London in 2012 at the Trafalgar Studios, and it was part of the...
But first it was at Edinburgh Festival.
Okay.
And it was very well received, and actually the writer, who is Ben Wolfe,
yes,
and he's now becoming quite an illustrious writer, director, actor in London. he wrote the play, and he had 4 actors, and they were all sort of blonde, good-looking men. And they did it in Edinburgh. And a friend of mine, Carol Tamber, who goes to every Edinburgh festival and gives a wonderful award for the best Edinburgh play, and then brings it to New York. So I was talking to her, and I said, Carol, is there a play that you've seen in Edinburgh that you've just wished that some theater would do it? She said, Frances, there's a play I've known about for about 10 years. It is wonderful, and I would just love you to read it. Well, I read it, and I fell in love with it because of the timing, because of what the immigrant situation all over the world, and who are these people, and what is it like to come into a country and not know anybody. And so, and yet this was a comedy. So that's
It's
when
hysterical.
and that's
I
when
mean,
I
it's
gave it. It
hysterical.
is hysterical, and that's when I gave it to Steve. And I said, Steve, how do you like this? Would you like to direct it at Urban Stages?
Yeah, I heard that Steve wanted to do, you wanted him to come
Yes,
around, but he said,
exactly.
find a script for me. And then
Exactly.
you found this one, and
Yeah.
he couldn't say no to this.
I know. Thank you, Steve. I'm glad you did.
But what's really fabulous about this particular script is the 4 actors all play Yusef at different times in the play. So they actually play part of the scenery. They play different characters.
Exactly.
They have to make quick transitions.
No, it's a tour de force for all the actors. And the other thing was, as I said, when it was done in London, and it was done in Australia, and it was done in Edinburgh, there weren't 4 guys. Well, Steve and I said, look, first of all, I think it's got to be diverse nationalities. I mean, we just can't have 4 blonde people. And plus that, we don't want 4 guys, we want girls and guys. So that the guys can play girls, girls can play guys. And that's what we did. And I think it really tells more of the story in depth than just 4 blonde actors. And the exciting thing is, during auditions, Steve and I knew of this girl who had done some work for me, who was from Turkey, and she was a student. And I couldn't find her, I could not find Nazlia picture. I couldn't find her, couldn't get a hold of her. When we had open auditions in New York, she walked in. Well, she's in the cast, and she just got her visa, her working visa. So she is an immigrant herself here in New York in the cast, and it has her first real professional show.
Oh, that's so sweet.
And then there's another actor whose family came from Greece, and he was the first in the family to be born in the United States. There's somebody else from Jewish descent.
Give us their names.
Well, there's
can you
Max
do it?
Samuel. There's Max Samuel.
I can't pronounce them.
No, I have a hard time myself.
Well, then let's not put you on the spot.
And it's Max Samuels, and it's Rami. What's her last name?
We're okay. We shouldn't.
Well,
have done-
anyway, it's Rami, Max, Chris, and Nazlia. They are just fabulous, and I not only as actors, but as people, and they dance, they sing, they do it all. And
So it's Max Samuels, Rami Margren.
Margren.
Christopher Duss.
I know. See, they're not all Smith.
No, it's no Smith and no Jones.
No.
And Nazal, is it?
Nazlia.
Nazlia Zapakra.
Zapakra, yes, exactly. Exactly.
They're all. It's a multi.
It's
ethnic.
a multi-ethnic cast, which is what we all are, and we all are immigrants in one way or another. So this was what I found was so exciting about the play and how it ended up to be cast. And I'm so grateful to Steve, and I'm so grateful to those 4 actors, plus the designers. We can't forget them.
Oh, the costumes alone. I mean, they're simple. But
Right.
you know, what I loved that they were oversized suits, and it was symbolic of him being just lost in the country
Exactly,
that he was in.
exactly.
And they all have the exact same costumes on because they're all playing Yusef at different parts. But
Exactly.
then they strip out of these costumes when they're not Yusef, when they're doing different characters or being part of the scenery. And it happens so fast, it becomes like this fast-paced runaway train.
Right.
That is,
Well, it's a little bit like Monty Python.
Yes,
It's
there
that
you
it's that English humor of I can do anything on the stage, and their physical life on the stage is amazing. So it's a very exciting piece, and I'm very, very proud of it, and I am very excited that it was able to come to East Hampton.
well, I think they're all going to be excited to see it. I was blown away. I wrote this incredible review on it myself. Let me see, I was going to quote something that I said, but I guess we did that already with how meticulous it was, the casting. But here's what I wrote at the end that I think is really good. This evening may be an entertaining charade. However, there is no hiding the bigotry just beneath the surface, underlying the real struggle of immigrants here and everywhere. You may laugh at playwright Ben Wolf's farce, yet his candy-coated message is no laughing matter.
That is brilliant, Patrick. That you hit the nail on the head. That is excellent. Nobody could say that better. Thank you.
So it's going to be, let's tell everyone one more time, it's going to be a Guildhall starting May 30th.
May 31st.
May 31st.
It's previews, and then it opens on June the 3rd, that's Saturday, and then it plays through June the 19th.
Right. And now, as the founding director of Urban Stages in New York City, what was your motivation to starting?
It's all by accident.
Really?
I never grew up saying I was going to be, run a theater, but I was an actress and a director, and I also began writing plays when I first came to New York because I kept going to these plays, and I thought, maybe I could write one of these. And
What's the first play you wrote?
Well, the first one,
It was successul, but you think?
Yeah, well, I wrote several of them, but it was a one act I did, one called Lifelines was one play, and somebody read it, and they said, Francis, he was a Boston director, I'd like to direct this. So somehow we found a theater, and we found a theater, which was at Hartley House, and suddenly I asked a couple of people, I said, we want to do new plays, and we want to do known playwrights with unknown playwrights. And they said, good, we'll send you some money. I thought that was very good. And so suddenly we became a nonprofit theater, and suddenly it all kind of started. And one of our first plays was a play by Jim Lear of The Newscaster. And he sent us a play that was a one act, and we decided, well, we've got to develop that into a full-length play, which we did with him, and then that went to the Kennedy Center.
Oh, wow.
So it was sort of like this
What was that?
snowball,
What was
and it was called, why did you ask me?
Oh,
Why'd you ask me?
it's too many years ago.
It's too many years ago, exactly. And so it was Dairy Queen. That's what it was called.
You know what happens is the frontal lobe, it just gets slower.
Yeah, it gets so anyhow, so that's what it's been, and then like anything, it goes through changes. And we do a lot of outreach programs in the city through libraries and schools where we bring teaching artists, and we have a summer camp for kids, and we have residencies in senior centers and various places around the city where we actually bring teaching artists, and they put on plays with the seniors. Let's say they write their play and they put it on, and it's wonderful to see. It's wonderful to see somebody who's always wanted to dance. All of their life they wanted to dance, and suddenly, at maybe 70, they dance, or they write a poem, and they have their poem. They read their poem, and all of this is put together in a show with our teaching artists.
Oh.
And it just shows you what you love too, Patrick, is what theater can bring to the soul, and can bring to people. I think that's why I'm still doing it.
You know what I love about it, your story though, is you said it was all by accident.
Yes.
And, there are no accidents really. So, it's like if we just pay attention to what's happening in the moment and surrender to it, it morphs into a new journey as we go forward and forward and forward. And what you just described was an accident that's felt like an accident, but was really obviously part of your destiny.
Well, maybe so, but at the time, it wasn't calculated.
Right, no.
And I like your philosophy. It's sort of what I've lived by too, is that we just never know what's going to be next down the road. And sometimes not planning is okay.
Yeah, just get up and smell the roses
Yes,
and take an action and see where it leads.
see where it leads. Exactly.
I mean, you just asked your friend about what she'd seen over there in London, and
Yeah, exactly.
And what happened was, she saw this wonderful play,
Right.
The Angry Young Man, that you didn't know anything about. And how did you first see it?
I didn't see
read it
it.
first,
I
yeah.
just read it, and it's not an easy play to read because it's a director's play and an actor's play. It's not all that literary, and yet it is literary. So a lot of theaters, I think, read it and they couldn't figure it out.
I wouldn't have been able to figure it out.
So I just felt something about it. I just felt that it would just be very good at this time for people to see this, because of all the intense, what we're hearing about what's happening to so many people coming into this country or not coming into this country.
Not being allowed to come in.
And not being allowed to come into this country. So, and since it's set in England, we're off the hook. So we can look at those English and think, oh, why did they? We're not. So we can laugh.
Yeah, because they really do take advantage of him.
Yeah. We can laugh at it, and because we think we don't have people like that, but yes, we do. So that was one of my takes.
And some of them are in high places.
Yeah, exactly. So anyhow, I just feel so grateful, when a play comes together, and I know, Patrick, because you're quite a theater person and you'd understand this, it's not like an artist sitting by himself and painting a canvas. It's about a tribe of people. It's about the actor, the writer, the director, the set designer, the designers, all come together and produce a product of theater. Mm-hmm. All their talents and all their souls. And when it does come together and have a wonderful result, I'm thrilled.
Well, this is a thrilling production, and what was, I was just blown away by the cast. I mean, what Steve Hamilton was able to get those people to do and how free they were, and the razor-sharp changes that they made, the Monty Python aspect of it, yet while we're getting a serious message at the same time, we don't realize at the moment what a serious message we're getting because we're caught up in the shenanigans that are going on stage.
Exactly.
And we get catapulted. And it's short. It's not a long piece. Is it 90
It's about an hour. Yeah, it's about an hour and 15 minutes.
It's even less than 90 minutes.
Yeah, it's less.
So it's like boom, boom, boom.
Boom,
I
boom.
mean, like I gaffos. I was laughing constantly, and I'm not easy to get to laugh because I have this very serious side of my brain. But they were so silly.
I know.
Of them.
Well, what is great is they're young actors. In fact, Max Samuels just graduated from Dartmouth, magna cum laude, in, I think it was Chinese and theater. They're very smart, they're very young, they're very athletic, and it was wonderful to see them develop. And the good thing is they're thrilled about the show, and they really enjoyed doing it, and they enjoyed each other.
I mean, that comes across so much on the stage of how
Right.
much fun they're having, how much they enjoy each other, and how much they love this piece at the same time. I mean, getting to speak with them afterwards, they were just all over the moon.
I
mean,
know,
Totally
I
over the
know.
moon and just, like they're having the best time of their lives at the moment,
I know.
doing this.
Well, they're great, and I just hope that their careers all become great through this, and that people see their work, and then they can go on and do other things. That's part of what Urban Stages wants to do, is show new work, show new actors' work as sort of a springboard for them to go to other theaters, other plays.
And you're doing some special event on the 10th?
Oh yeah, we're doing we're doing sort of an Urban Stages evening at Guildhall, where it's an Urban Stages have bought all the tickets, and we're going to have dinner afterwards
Oh,
at my house. And I have a friend of mine that said, Frances, I want to do the cooking. I said, terrific.
someone's going to cook?
Yes, I was gonna cook. I'm not going to cook. But it'll be very good, and we're hoping to have David Lewis. I don't know if you know David.
No, I don't.
But he's a piano player, and we're hoping the cast and everybody will join in some music.
Oh, it sounds like a really fun
So
evening.
this will be fun.
It's really, definitely fun.
Yeah.
And one more time, they're doing this on the stage, right?
Yes, it's not, it's, well,
gonna be an
no,
environment.
but this is great, because Guildhall has a lot of seats. And for these small plays, it was very smart of who, I don't know if it was Josh Gladstone, who is the artistic director, or who, but they devised a way to use the large stage so that we're all on the stage and the play. And I saw several plays done there with Steve Hamilton
Right.
directing. Night Alive, which was
Oh,
one
yes,
of
that
them.
was fabulous.
It
I
was
saw that too.
fabulous, and it was done. And I thought, this is very interesting, and you don't feel cramped at all. And so it'll be interesting for this. I mean, they'll do probably basically the same work that we did in Urban Stages, but because it's a new space, it has to be adapted to the new space. So it'll be fun to see what they all come up with, both the actors and Steve and the designers.
Well,
So-
because Josh was here. His show is airing this week.
Right.
And he talked about the season, and of course, he spoke about the show, because when he was here, I don't think they had yet decided that they were going to do it on the stage, because if I remember correctly, I think they talked about doing it in the proscenium setting. And I had kind of questioned him how he was going to adapt it, because, I worked so well in your
Yeah.
theater. And that's always the most interesting part of theater, when something moves, how you move the thing.
Right,
and
right.
how the energy changes and how you keep it alive in that kind of fashion.
Well, I trust their imagination. I mean, and it's not all, it's Steve and all the actors. And I think Steve, I heard this story, but Steve, when the actors came, he said, look, here's the play. I'm not too sure what to do with this. I want all your creativity. I want you to work with me. And I think that was what made this such an exciting event, was that it was a theater, it was a piece that was done through all these great talents.
It's really is exciting. Are there any plans to do anything further with it after it comes here? Is it?
I don't know, not that I know of, but it's a great piece for other theaters, and I'm surprised that other theaters haven't picked it up. I mean, Urban Stages has had many of our plays taken onto larger stages. In fact, we had a play called Honky by Greg Colares, who actually went to San Diego Rep and then went on HBO.
And what was Honky about?
Oh, Honky was great. It was about advertising, the black and white, the black population and the white population in advertising and tennis shoes. And it was about how this company was really only making tennis shoes for sort of the black population, but the white population wanted them. And so it was very, very funny. It was very funny about our racial issues.
So the white people had to buy the black people's
Well, yeah,
tennis
but
shoes?
no, but remember when the kids were killing each other to get
Oh,
the
but yeah,
shoes
yeah,
off
yeah,
their
yeah, I
feet?
do.
Well, this was sort of what it was about. And only it was from the eyes of the executives of the company, plus, the designer of the shoes, plus the CEO, and it was extremely funny, and now that is being done in other theaters around the country.
But you were the
Well, oh yeah, we were the one that read it. See, we read about 500 plays a year.
Oh, wow.
And so this play just came up through the plays. I mean, if you should see my office now, it's 8 feet high, I think, with plays that we have to read, which we will this summer. But this
Do you have a
play
staff
came.
that helps you?
Yes, oh yes. But this play came through, and Antoinette Mullins, who is brilliant, that works for me, she said, and she's African American. She said, Frances, this is good. And because she read it with her sensitivity, I said, okay, and we did it, and it was it was a great hit, and that's the kind of play I like to do, like Angry Young Men, that has a message but is funny. It's entertaining. You have to remember that the word is play. It's not suffer. I'm not going to a suffer. I'm going to a play. And so theater has to be entertaining, but then it also has to touch your soul and touch your heart.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So I know that's why you're in it.
It's true. It's true. It's true. And you know, George Bernard Shaw, a wonderful quote. I was interviewing someone who had just directed something. I can't remember who it was at the moment, but he fed me this quote that I have been sharing with everyone from George Bernard Shaw, and it's we don't forget to play because we grow old. We grow old because we forget to play.
Oh, that's great.
Isn't it fabulous? So
That's great.
You know, I've been passing it on to everyone, and I'm trying to.
No, that's great. That's my mother. She used to say, "Are you still doing those plays? Why do you keep doing those plays?" I said, "Mom, I'm going to keep playing. I'm going to keep doing those plays forever and ever because that's my life and that's the play in my soul."
And so you've created Urban Stages to be your little playbox.
My playground.
Playground.
And I hope other people's too.
You've got everybody into the sand playing with you now.
Yeah, exactly. And I
have a-
hope they still do and keep doing.
Well, it sounds like you're. I mean, from what you've just, from this latest work, I mean, I think it's one of the finest things you've probably ever done.
Well, I don't know.
But I have, you know, I'm new to Urban Stages. I don't go back
Yeah.
all those 32 years. So I mean, it certainly was the finest thing last season.
Thank you,
And
thank
what
you.
what do they say? You're only as good as your last hit.
Exactly, and that's it. Who knows what? And that's, yeah, exactly. And so it's hard. It's not, and I've always thought, doing new plays that have never been done in New York is so much harder than doing another version of a Shakespeare play. You know, I mean, and I love Shakespeare. Let's say, but when you have to really read all those 8 feet of plays to find the gem that everybody wants to see or learn, that's
We're winding down. Let's remind everyone again. It's Angry Young Man
great.
at Guildhall. It opens May 31st. No, premieres May 31st. It opens on January 3rd.
June
June
3rd.
Oh, duh.
Don't wait till January,
The
please.
J's got me messed up. It opens
Yeah.
on premieres May 31st. It opens on June 3rd, and it runs to
June 19th.
June 19th. So see Angry Young Man.
Yeah, and it's fun. You'll have a good time. Treat yourself.
The number you have dialed is not in service at this time.